Saudi Gab. February the 15th, the day after Valentine's Day, which means there's candy on sale, as my ex-girlfriend, Alex, reminded me today through email. She likes dark chocolate. So my current one, I think I mentioned, doesn't like chocolate at all, which posed quite the challenge for me on Valentine's Day, because what the hell do you buy somebody who doesn't like chocolate on Valentine's Day, where you buy chocolate? So, anywho, today is the 15th here, day after Valentine's Day. Y'all are enjoying the holiday, I guess. I put a thing out on Facebook where a trumpet is blaring behind some girl covering her ears, and I said, this is what all the Valentine's Day posts on Facebook mean to me being somebody single. Because, you know, if you're not a couple on that day, it's kind of sucks just to see all these people like, I love you, you know what I mean? Like, it's tough on some single people. All the holidays are, really. There's the people get really sad, you know, Christmas, Thanksgiving, if they don't have a significant other. And that's why so many people hook up with people they're not really in love with, and stay with people they're not really in love with, because they just don't want to be alone. You know, holidays like Valentine's is one of the reasons people find partners and stay with partners that there's not really a connection there. It's like a job that you don't love. Some people are in relationships, and they just kind of accept what happens. They're not really in love. I know a lot of people like that. And for 6 years or whatever the hell it was that my parents were married, they were in, neither one loved the other one. They were just, that's what you do. You know, you get married and have babies and move to the suburbs and buy a house. And that's what you did back in the 50s and 60s. So, anywho, on to the paragraph of the day. February 15th. If you become discouraged, think of Helen Keller, who, though she was deaf, dumb, and blind, inspired her more fortunate contemporaries through her books. The life of Helen Keller is an outstanding example of the triumph of the human spirit over a physical handicap. Even today, decades after her death, her life stands as a beacon of hope for those who must constantly struggle to perform routine tasks that most of us take for granted. Whenever you feel fate has been unkind to you, all you must do is look around you and you'll begin to appreciate how fortunate you are. Make sure your life's plan includes giving something back to the community without expecting anything in return. I think we've talked about that before too, tithing in the church or just volunteering your time, helping those less fortunate than yourself. I think that's a big part of being a successful entrepreneur. Giving time and effort, there you go, not just money, reinforces your connections to your community, provides you with concrete proof of the effectiveness of deliberate action, and reminds you of the inspiring power of determination in human endeavor. In the human endeavor, I would have said, but you know, we got the point. So cool, yeah. I mean, give back. I think that was something we talked about a lot in the beginning, in the last summer when I started reading this, was giving back. And I actually talked about that before. I started this playlist, it's called, in YouTube, where it's a group of related videos. So before I started the Positive Action Plan series, I had talked about the responsibility of being an entrepreneur and giving back to those less fortunate than you, helping people who want to do what you've done once you've made a success of it. I talked about Chris Barnes. Remember him? He's a guy who had 2 cooking jobs, and he got into real estate, and he was helped and mentored by several people. And you know, he had a meetup group that he created, and I went and spoke 3 times there for free. I didn't charge him any money or anything like that, because I was trying to help him out, and I guess I did a little bit, whatever. He's very successful now. His goal is 10 deals a month, and I think he's come close to that several months now, and he'll get it. He'll get it probably this year, because he's working his butt off, you know, ground up, hustling, you know, putting out bandit signs, doing ground level work that guys like me don't do anymore, but we did in the past. I put bandit signs out a long time ago. I wouldn't do it now, because to me it's not worth the amount of effort for the deal you get. But for Chris, it is. But and soon he'll get to the point where he won't be doing that either. Because he'll have enough deals coming in. You get to the point where you can make deals on the phone from your house or your office. And Chris will get there too. But he starts on the ground. Real estate is done out in the street, not in an office, until you build up a bunch of contacts, and then you can make a phone call and say, hey, you got any deals, to a guy who's out on the street, like Chris, working, finding deals. And he goes, yeah, I got one. What do you need for it? 55 grand. Okay, what's the address? And then in my office, I check out, I do my due diligence on my laptop or my desktop. And back then, Sony screen and stuff, comfortable, air conditioned, Just got back from lunch with my boy Rob Jones. And I'll check the deal out. And if it makes sense, then I'll make another call to a private lender and say, hey, you have cash right now? Because private lenders don't have unlimited pockets. They're not a commercial bank. So they don't print money like the U.S. government. So sometimes they're out of cash. Even the very, very wealthy people are run out of cash. At some point they have it all out on the street, which is good for them. They want it out in the street making money. Hey, you got cash? You got a deal? Yeah, what do you got? And I send them the deal. And not only do I send them the address, which I got from the wholesaler, but I'll also send them comps that I found on the MLS. And what I think the ARV is, the adjustable, the after repair value, right? What the house is worth fixed up. So they make a decision. They do their own due diligence as a private lender. Then they call me back. Yeah, you're good. What do you need? 75 grand, 90 grand, whatever. Just $55,000 house, and it needs 40 grand too. I need to borrow 95,000 for 6 months, 10%, 2 points, blah 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 blah. You work it out on the phone. You know what I mean? And that's it. They transfer the money over to the title company. You don't have to go get the money. And the bird dog, the wholesaler who found the deal, they're talking to the seller. You never talk to the seller. You buy it from the bird dog. You give them their assignment fee, their middleman fee, the chunk in the middle. You got a deal. Then you call, and then you pick up the phone and you call your contractor, your crew, and say, here's the address. Change the lock, slap a lockbox on it. Here's the lockbox code. I put that all on a spreadsheet in my office, and the contractor will go out the day of closing, change the locks on the door. They'll get the key from the agent or from the seller if there's no agent involved, and change the locks out, put a new lock on, and put a new lockbox on with the new keys, and start the demo day one. Like if I close at 10 in the morning or 1 in the afternoon, the day of closing, I've got a dumpster delivered to that address, a 40-yard dumpster, the biggest that they rented in Jacksonville. And I got a crew in there cleaning the shit out that we're not going to keep. And sometimes it's demoing the old kitchen. It can't be saved. It's outdated. Demoing the soffit, the part above the cabinets and the old-fashioned stuff, and demoing the bathroom because it's dirty and a mess and outdated. When you put a new one in, you're going to gut it. So whatever the demo is that day, they go in and do the day of closing, get it started right away. Then you do your painting, your rough-ins, all that crap. After that, and then eventually the final touches, and I put it on the market, which, once again, I send a professional photographer out to take pictures. So I'm not leaving my office, and that's how I flipped. And at the end, because it was so hard to get good crews that would work for decent money, contractors, I switched over to something called lipstick on a pig, which is a wholetailing, where you add some value to the house from the condition that you found it in, but you don't do a full-on rehab. So you never ever spend 40 grand on a wholetail or a lipstick on a pig, unless it's a higher end house, 300, 500, 700,000. Then you could spend 40 grand on a lipstick on a pig. But if you're gonna buy that kind of house, you just do a full rehab, do a full-on, make the $700,000 house worth 700. The lipstick on a pig worked more for houses in the $150,000 to $250,000 range. People starting out handymen, the sweat equity, they're going to do some work, they're going to update the kitchen. So as long as the kitchen's complete and usable, you leave it on a lipstick on a pig. You don't redo it. So, yeah, that's the deal right there. Once again, I hope you guys are getting something from this. That's what I did. That's how I got here, flipping houses. And toward the end, the last year or 2 years probably, I did the lipstick on a pig, and it worked for me because, I would buy it cheap, put a little bit of money in it, 5-10 grand. Handyman, I would hire a handyman and not a GC, not a general contractor, and then sell it for less than retail. And they'd always sell quickly because it was cheaper than retail. $245,000 house, Mander and I sold for 215, 220, something like that. I bought it for 160. I put 5 grand in it. Cleaned out the backyard, which was a jungle. That cost me like $600 in labor from a handyman, right? Bought a used stainless steel stove on Facebook Marketplace for $100 because it had no stove. You need a stove and a kitchen oven stove combination. In America here, nobody has an oven for whatever reason. Very few people have a stove. But in America, every frigging kitchen, in a trailer, in a shack, in the ghetto, everybody has an oven and a stove. So I bought an oven and a stove, and a microwave. I was missing a microwave. Got that for $40, and had a handyman install it for $40 or $50. He picked both items up, drove them over to the house. Once again, I didn't have to go there, and installed the above the range microwave, right? Hung it up on the brackets. So, like I said, 5 grand, 6 grand into the whole deal, and I made, 45, 50, the same as a flip. So now you see why I was doing that. If you make the same money as a flip and don't have to deal with general contractors, yeah, buddy. And there's a lot more handymen than there are general contractors, which means they're unlicensed, handymen, and they're only allowed to do certain things that contractors, need a license for. Windows, if you're swapping out windows, technically you need a licensed general contractor for that. So, you don't swap out the windows, you leave the old windows, but remember, you're selling the place for 20 or 30,000 less than the retail value, so after repair value. So it works. If some of you are flipping and the margins are tight right now because it's a seller's market, there's an idea for you. Do lipstick on a pig. Buy cheap, fix cheap, sell cheap. And I was able to make almost as much money as a flip, if not the same. So your mileage may vary as usual. So that's it. Happy Valentine's Day for people who are couples in love, whatever. Enjoy it. Love each other. Be kind to each other. For those that are single, by choice, I get you. I certainly understand. Like I said, I didn't really have a relationship in the 4 years I was building a business. In 6 months I dated this one girl and then another girl for like a month, a Japanese girl, which I think maybe led me to have an Asian fever, which is why I'm here. But anyway, for the most part, I was solo by design, and it let me focus on my business and work on that. So I made that sacrifice on purpose. So if you're solo because you want to be, good on you. Stick to your guns. If you're solo and you don't want to be, make an effort, change something. What did I say yesterday or the day before? If you want to change, you've got to change if you want change in your life. So get online, meet people, get yourself out there. And I'd also say do hobbies that you like. If you're into cars, like I like cars, go to car shows. And if you're a woman and you like muscle cars or sports, holy shit, there's a million guys out there who like cars and sports. So get out there to a car meet, you know what I mean? Or even, really, it's things in common are great, but a lot of the women I've dated and the one I was married to for 10 years, they're, obviously they're not exactly like me. So they didn't necessarily share the same interests. But maybe you go to a car meet if you're a lady looking to meet a guy. You're single, not by choice. Go to a car meet. There's tons of guys there. You'll meet a guy at a car show, and the cars are pretty. You can look at them. They're painted nice. It's sparkly and shit. Pay whatever, $5 and walk around the car show. A lot of them are free. You'll meet a guy there. Sports. Go to a local football game, baseball game, whatever. The guys are sports nuts. You'll find a guy even if you don't like sports. And for guys, you guys go to bars, right? Girls go out in groups and little packs, and they have their wingmen and their friends, and they go out to bars and clubs, and you go to bars and clubs to meet girls. So just make an effort, get off your ass and do something. My buddy Lee in New Jersey, who I knew from high school, we were good buddies back in high school. He's alone. He's single, renting a room in another dude's house. He's closing in on 59 years old. And sometimes he's just like, as you can imagine, depressed. He's like, fuck, I'm all alone. I wanted to be a writer, an author. I'm not, he's working in a supermarket and he's super bummed out. And I write to him all the time, dude, if you want change, make a change, do change, be the change. And he just, for whatever reason, he just keeps, he complains about being in a rut, but that he just stays in the rut, right? You got to change something. You can't just wake up every day and shower and shit and eat breakfast and expect change. You got to make a change. You got to force change. You got to be an agent of change, right? So here's hoping that he'll take the leap of faith. He's a good guy. He deserves better than the life he's living right now. I hope he takes advantage of the opportunity and does something different. Well, that's it for today. I managed to take another 2-minute video, make it 15 minutes. God damn, I talk a lot. Sorry, guys.